Are you creating the images or is the camera doing it for you? If you're letting the camera decide, you're not just losing control, you're losing creativity. Every time you press the shutter, one of two things happen. You take a photograph or your camera does. In this video, I'm going to help you so you stop handing over the brush to the camera and start painting the picture yourself. I will show you how to take back that control and create photos that don't just look amazing, they feel amazing. Alright guys, so reason number one. The reason why you are losing control over your images is because you're listening to your camera without understanding what it's saying to you. The camera is always speaking. It measures the light in your scene and tells you make it brighter or make it darker. But here is the catch. Your camera speaks only one language, and that language is called middle gray. Every time you point it to something, it compares that subject to gray. Not white, not black, just gray. Point it to black and the camera thinks it's too dark. It tells you to add light, make it brighter. You end up with a muddy gray, not rich black. Point it to white and the camera thinks it's too bright. And it tells you to reduce the light or make it darker. You end up with a dull gray, not glowing white. If you don't know the language of gray, you're letting the camera drain the emotion without you even knowing it. You will follow the camera blindly and lose control of your images. But once you do understand it, you know when to ignore the meter and trust your vision instead. Camera is a great tool, but a terrible artist. Now you're going to say to me, Ejaz, how do you learn the gray language? Start by training your eye to see the world in gray. Ask yourself, what does the color red look in the gray language? Is it mid-gray? Or what about pink? Is that light gray? What about burgundy, dark gray, or even black? Start translating everything around you during the day, like your clothes, like the sky, like somebody's skin. We start translating all of that into the language of gray. It will take time, but it's easy to do once you start doing it. And once you start understanding that, where does your subject fall in the gray language? You will be and become a much better evaluator of where you want your subject to be on the gray scale and what you should do with the language that the camera is speaking. Understanding what your camera is saying to you. And once you start thinking in the gray language, your camera's feedback will make more sense to you. And then one day your camera is going to say, add 2 stops of light to this black subject. And you will say, no, I want it to be black. Now at that point, you are in control and not the camera. The key to success in knowing what your subject matter or the things around it in the gray language is to practice without your camera. Look at your loved one, look at your friends, look at the things around you and say, hey, what is that in the language of gray? Is it mid-gray? Is it white? Is it black? Where does it sit in the mid-gray? Maybe it's not white. Maybe it's not mid-gray. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. That's where you'll understand better what your camera is saying to you. But knowing your camera's language is just the beginning. Because what good is fluency if you keep changing partners? Reason number 2, you are jumping between modes instead of mastering one. What I'm trying to say is the aperture priority mode, the shutter priority mode, or the manual. You cannot build trust in a relationship if you keep jumping around. The same goes for shooting modes. I shoot in manual mode, but not because it's trendy or pro. It's because I have dated every other mode seriously. I committed 6 months to aperture priority. I got to know how it thinks, how it behaves, and what it needs from me. But it did not work. I wasn't getting what I wanted, and I'm sure Aperture was not getting what it wanted either, because the images just didn't look right. They were not coming out the way I wanted them to. Then I gave Shutter Priority the same kind of attention. Yep, we had a thing too. And after all of that dating with Shutter and Aperture, manual mode is the one that I choose to get married to. It fits my vision. We understand each other. We make a great couple. But the point is in which mode you choose is that you choose one and commit, because only when you stop switching around can you truly understand what the mode is trying to tell you and what it needs from you to create the outcome you want. Every time you switch the mode, you don't just risk a bad photo, you risk the trust that you've built with this mode. So go ahead and date around. Spend real time with each mode, but once you find the one, stop cheating. Master it. That's how you take control. Now that we stop jumping between modes, let's talk about something more tempting, the gear trap. Alright guys, reason number 3. Stop chasing the young and beautiful. I'm guilty of this myself. I've used the Sony A1 for years, and now the Sony A1 Mark II is out. And yes, I was lusting over it. She's faster, she's slicker, full of promise. But here's the truth. When I traveled to Florida to photograph the birds, I bought my Sony A1 Mark II. I had it in my hands, but then when things started getting bad, when I say bad, the light was getting low, the focusing, I was having a little bit of an issue with it because it felt different as well. So what did I do? I took it, I put it in the bag, picked up my A1, the original one. Why? Simply because I knew it and it knew me. We've been together through storms. She's never ever surprised me. And the Mark II, sure, she's stunning, but we don't speak the same language yet. I don't trust her because trust is something that you achieve in time. You can replace time and experience with features and specs. So here's the lesson. Don't chase gear based on what it could do. Use the camera that can give you the best results because it understands you and you understand it. And that kind of relationship outcomes every single new camera. None of this is about gear modes and meters. It's about trust, and trust takes time. When you understand your camera's language, commit to one and stop chasing the next shiny upgrade. You stop reacting and you start creating. You stop second guessing and you start trusting your instincts. That's when your images will come alive. That's when you take control. Alright guys, in this we were not so technical, but I have to be honest, the reason number 1 is super technical and you don't need any tools for it. All you need is your eyes, your brain. Think about it and look around. Start today looking around and saying, okay, in the gray language, what and where does this color fall? And convert that into that gray strip. The way I did it when I first started doing this is I carried a gray strip with me, you know, the one that goes from black to light black and gray and then goes all the way to white. I carried that with me. Every time I looked at a color and I could not make a decision, I said, okay, that's where it sits. What I'm trying to say to you guys is sharpen your skills here and then you'll sharpen the skills with your camera. Alright guys, until next time, see you soon. Bye-bye.